Previously on Wrath and Glory.
You are all in the employ of Rogue Trader Lord Commodore Jakel Varonius, Brother Mateczka, Elmeric, Gotsdam, Arril. Things have been difficult for the people of the Gilead System, and they are in desperate need of salvation. And my eye is currently on the planet of Charybdion, ruled by Ganthet Veneratio. Veneratio has been missing for quite some time, and the local populace is getting unruly. So it falls upon us to ensure that riots and disruption in production is kept at a minimum. Will you be able to handle this?
Of course.
I believe so.
I smack off a salute without saying a word.
We will do our very best.
There is another Arvis lighter waiting for you. You board it and head down to the Black Pearl of the Gilead System.
Should
Yes.
we not go back to our own quarters and actually get some of our belongings before leaving?
You didn't bring them?
I didn't
Let's assume that you were informed to bring your own belongings before that.
Okay.
What belongings do you need except what you carry on yourself?
What belongings do you have? I ask.
Well, with this system, there's
Who's
not a lot
belonging?
of stuff that you own, so you probably carried a duffel bag or something similar with you on the way.
Yeah, I'll have a piece of jewelry from the ruling family from my home planet. Their symbol in my bag.
Which reminds me, trinkets.
Trinkets. Should roll for trinkets, yes.
Should roll for trinkets before we continue.
What?
That's another little thing that you get a little item to carry with you. Before we continue, we're going to roll for trinkets for you.
First 1d3 and then...
2d6.
Yeah, but there are 3 different tables.
Oh yeah, that's right. Where are the tables again? There
In the book.
are some. Let's
Thank you,
let's go to the
asshole.
index. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. War gear, I think, after.
Trinkets, 327.
Because
This is
the
a
battle
very
value
thick
five.
book. With not a lot of content.
Quick question.
Yes.
This game only uses 6s?
Yes.
Yep.
Alright.
You can
Then
probably,
these are completely pointless.
They are.
for now, yes.
Well, no, wait.
They
Most
have
of
a
them has a greater chance of success, so...
True. You just roll them anyways.
Because it was 6 or more, wasn't it?
4 plus is...
13. I think that's...
You can borrow
I'll be
At
using
least.
this one.
these for now if you want, the blue ones.
Why, thank you.
And
So what, the
I will
greater
bring more
good?
next time we play. All right,
A
so
thousand-
let's
Or I
be-
could order
versions?
some
I
more
mean-
from China.
don't.
Siege. 1,000 faces.
No, there is actually a thing of the Imperial Creed that
I know.
all the religions you find
Yeah,
are
yes.
absorbed into the...
Yeah, no.
Oh, you worship a tree? That tree's the emperor now. There you go. Okay, so let's start with Brother
Is your fish slightly
Mateczka.
fatherly? Yes. Does he hate Xenos?
Yes.
Yes. He is the emperor.
He did not hate Xenos. You just don't know it yet.
Brother Mateczka, please roll a d6.
4.
That is subtable 2. Please roll d66. So
64.
64. You have a stale wafer of hardtack from a military commissary, hard and thick enough to stop a slug round.
Oh, dreamy.
So yeah,
Well, that must be about 2 weeks of food, I guess.
You just suck on it.
so a stale wafer of hardtack. We can write that down later.
Write it down.
Okay, let's go with Arril. Roll a d6.
Alright. A 5.
So that's table number 3. Roll 2 d6s.
54, I guess.
54. You have the knob from the end of a weird boy's channeling rod. What?
Okay.
That's weird. That's something you inherited from long time ago. Weird boy is some kind of orc.
Yeah, the orc psychus, right?
Yes, probably.
So he's having a Xenos
artifact?
talisman?
Yes.
Artifact?
Yes, he
Wait,
does.
no. It must be a...
A weird boy knob.
It's
Weird
taken
boy
in battle.
knob.
Surely.
Well, I haven't battled any of those.
Should I roll?
Yes, roll please.
Right, a 3, so table 2, I guess.
Table 2, roll.
12.
12. A polymorphine ampoule, jury-rigged to hold a preserved blood sample.
So I have a capsule of a blood drop.
Yes, a polymorphine ampoule.
I'll write a capsule because I can't
Capsule
spell
of blood.
I'm slightly jealous.
I
Whose
believe
blood?
it is.
I enjoy
What
blood.
color is the blood? Do I know it is blood?
It's blood, you know that. D6, please.
1,
So that's table number 1, and then D66.
36.
36. A necklace made of 5 regicide playing pieces on a silver chain. Regicide is chess, essentially.
Okay.
Okay.
A weird boy knob.
A stale
Right.
wafer.
Stale wafer. I love it. You got a stale wafer that can stop a slug. Slug shot.
You don't chew it, you suck on it.
I don't even suck, I just lick on it.
The problem is, if you start sucking on it, it drains all your hydration in your mouth.
It's like a salt stone.
I just pull it back and forth over my teeth like a file.
That's how you brush your teeth. All right.
No, across your
Okay,
legs.
so you're heading down to
check
Charybdion. Damn, this is way more exhausting to GM than D&D. You didn't decide where you're going, by the way.
Our
No, you just
quartz
kinda
down there.
put us on a...
On a ship going
No, he told you to decide whether to go
He
to
did?
your Hablock or to the...
Our Hablock,
Aurelius.
I think.
No,
would be-
you
Yeah,
told us...
Hablock or the prefect.
Yep. If we were given the choice.
That was the choice.
And I would prefer to go to the Hablock first to just.
It's better to go to the barracks first.
Whose barracks?
Ours.
The Hablock you will be given to live in during this.
Ah, okay.
Yes, not the murder site or anything like that. but
Oh,
he basically said you can either go directly to the prefect or you can go to your new base of operations. And
Of
get
course,
established.
directly to the prefect.
Wait, no.
2 versus 1. So, are we gonna have a stalemate?
Well, the one is a simple soldier, and the other is perhaps a thief.
We
So I
haven't
don't
s-
think there is not any such thing as democracy here, is there?
What is that word?
What is democracy?
Counting votes, I think.
What is votes?
Well,
Just so that you don't get any surprises. What do we actually bring with us? We should
Oh, yeah.
probably say ourselves what we bring.
tell me
so
what you're bringing with you.
Right.
What is your gear?
I have this backpack filled with my mess kit, blanket, couple of rations. I have a respirator,
Danishes.
Danishes, the
Fruits.
yeah, food, Imperial Infantryman's uplifting primer. I have a small spool of barbed wire, some sandbags, empty though, yet, and of course the gear I'm wearing, the coat, the flak thing, the light.
So weak. Empty sandbags. They should be filled.
Well, I'm getting there, and
With
then of course I
gold.
have a few books, porno slates, and stuff like that.
Of course, for those lonely nights in the trenches.
Yes, it's pin-ups of girls with gas masks.
Delightful.
Yes.
What is Elmeric bringing with him?
Well, in my very big duffel bag, I'm carrying a folded needle sniper rifle, and
Oh, I'm not saying anything. I'm
No.
just the fuck in my head. But all right.
and a few pieces of jewelry that can be used for trading mostly, and either a ring or a necklace with a symbol of the noble house of the ruling family.
Okay. Of the
Of the-
planet you came from.
Yeah, exactly. And the shock maul, last pistol, and a piece of or a simple set of binoculars that has infrared.
Perfect. Very good. And brother Mateczka.
Well, I bring the eviscerator, known as Innocence Lost. I do have my ministerium robes, a missionary kit, a rosarius, my reliquarium of Saint Felicia, the Vita Sancti Felixia, a beggar's bowl, some scholarly tomes, and one stale wafer.
Brilliant.
I point out no shoes, no other weapons, no money, nothing more.
No changes of clothes.
No.
No.
Nothing.
How bad does Brother Mateczka smell?
Not that bad. I do cleanse myself. That also means clean myself.
Ah, you're a flagellant.
Whip the dirt away.
Well, of
By
course.
By the way,
Blood
you said you don't have any currency. What is currency?
Cigarettes?
Ah!
Low sticks.
Low
Thank you.
sticks, low
Let's-
sticks,
let's
yes.
Stay to the lore. Low sticks and Amasek. I think low sticks are actually like weed in this, like shitty skunk weed. I think that's
Hopefully.
How I think that's how it's described. And then finally, what does Arril bring with him to the table?
Well, strangely enough, a weird boy knob.
A weird boy knob.
A weird boy knob. Okay.
I don't know.
That could actually be interpreted two ways. It's a weird boy's knob, or it is a weird boy who's also a knob.
Oh, it's a boy knob. That's weird.
I have
3 different ways.
No, they works as knobs, you
What a
know.
weird boy knob.
Yeah.
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 And
Not a
aside
girl
from
knob,
that,
yeah.
I have my armor.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 sets of less cumbersome clothing. Along with 20, 30 different sizes of blades.
Oh, okay.
And also...
Are you? Do you have these blades on your body, or are they like in a bag? Or
It's his
they're
armor.
actually incorporated into the armor mostly.
like, you are so 40k.
So wait, if you,
This-
no wait, if you use your blades, enough of them, does your armor value go down or something?
No.
Oh.
We've taken that into account.
Yes.
All right, it's a 0
It's
to begin with.
maximum efficiency with this armor.
Oh my god. You are literally an early '90s Marvel superhero.
Yeah,
Mixed with Arnold Schwarzenegger in
Yeah.
Commando.
Brilliant.
you carry logs around and speak slowly. All right.
Okay, brilliant. So you are heading down towards the planet of Charybdion aboard the
A lighter.
lighter. And as you come closer to the planet, you see that the dark greenish blue is the ocean, which is covering the majority of the planet. And you break through the atmosphere and you see a rather large archipelago, and it's like clutching to this cliff-like piece of earth is a large hive, multi-layered. It's like a spire almost growing out, and it like almost like a growth down to the ocean. So it looks almost like it's crawling out of the ocean and then reaching towards the sky. And you can see, of course, the upper hives is where the rich people would live. So that's closer to the heavens, even actually breaking through some of the lower clouds. And you would presume that at the very bottom, that's where the people live who don't matter. And the ship kind of zooms down and lands onto one of the landing platforms that stick out of the spires. It's almost like a mechanical growth. And as soon as you land, you realize that you are not actually in the upper tiers of this hive. You are in the middle. It is lit almost completely artificially. There is no sunlight coming in here, although there's almost no sunlight anywhere on the planet. And it has a very strong scent of salt and seawater and algae and seaweed. Fish. It has a stink of fish. And you see actually further down, you see a transportation vehicle traveling across one of these really wide roads. And there's a huge carcass of something that looks like a giant fish, except there's a little too many eyes on it. If you've ever seen a fish, which some of you might not have.
I've seen tyranids.
You've seen tyranids.
Yeah, we have binoculars too, you know.
All right, this is something I did not know about your character.
It's a yeah. All right, sorry.
No, it's okay. Of course, we'll talk about that later.
I have nightmares too. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. There is so many people here. It's a very, very crowded area.
By the way, you mentioned roads.
There are platforms connected to large. There are several.
So
there's
big
walkways.
bridges between.
There's big bridges, walkways along the edges of buildings. There are lifts and elevators going around. There's very few flying vehicles. There are some higher above you, but on this level, people either travel by foot or by trams, or they have these diesel spewing vehicles driving on larger roads supported by pillars extending down to who knows where. Their houses are built very closely together, and occasionally there would be imagine Venice but without water, but rather having nothing in between them. So there would be canals of nothing. There could be stuff above you, there could be stuff beneath. It's almost impossible to tell because there's lights here and there and there's these chasms, but not enough to actually show you what's more than 100 or so meters above and below you. And people are, of course, as soon as you land, you see a plethora of people dressed in rags, missing limbs, shaking bowls at you like, please, the Emperor's mercy, give us money, anything, a crown, my child is starving. Like they're clambering onto you. Perhaps not all of you seeing the state, especially the good brother Mateczka is in, being a man of few means himself. But Father, please, bless me. This infection, it will not go away. My arm, I cannot work without my arm. There's a dozen at least, like, grabbing your clothes and trying to take things from you. Some of them are, like, grabbing for pieces of cloth.
Well, come here and gather round then, and I will
Yes.
tell you of the Emperor.
Tell us of the Emperor, Father. Tell us his light, his glory.
I do hold a sermon, of course, and I do focus it around that even a man who has nothing can still offer his life, and that is their glory.
It's perhaps not what all of them wanted to hear.
But it is what they needed to hear.
Of course, you see
That
some
is what
solemn
I
nods.
deliver.
Do you want to perhaps roll to see how well you orate this
So the
divine
first
truth?
roll is a sermon. I like
That would be...
Well, of course, but then I want to use intimidation.
Of course, that's an unconventional, but in this time and place, not an uncommon.
Because my way of preaching is, of course, to make them aware of the peril their souls are in.
Of course.
If they do not.
So you seek to instill the fear of the Emperor and the righteousness of his
Yes.
judgment. Of course. Roll ahead. One of your dice needs to be
Yes.
of a different color, and that will be the Wrath die. And you roll your intimidation, which was 10, right?
Yes.
Brilliant.
I join the others in the sermon.
So 6s counts as 2 successes, and 4s and 5s are 1 success, and the difficulty number is 5.
So it's only 5s that, or do I need
No,
5
you need
successes?
5 successes.
I do get 6 successes.
Okay, so that's not enough to shift anything, but you succeed, and they are suitably terrified, albeit enraptured in the
So-
merciless mercy of the Emperor.
And what I instill in them is that it is important for them to make themselves useful for the Imperium.
Of course.
May
Father.
it cost them their lives.
Of course.
For it will.
How can we do this? Shall we clean your vehicle? We will carry your things.
You shall come to this Hablock, and you shall be our eyes and ears in the city, for there are evil things afoot,
Yes,
and you shall
Father,
find
yes.
them. Meet us tonight at address. Insert.
Yes, of course. They whisper amongst each other. Not all of them seem completely convinced to do this, but a suitable amount of them certainly nod and filled with new purpose, new value in the eyes of a holy man.
Go with straight backs and think of the purpose in your lives.
I will try, Father. One of them looks slightly crumped, but
Or at least hold your chin high.
yes, Father. Yes. they stumble away, some of them, and move. There's no obvious mutations going on, so.
Good.
Well, of course, because if I see them, I remember the Emperor's words about that.
And the Emperor's words about mutations are.
Oh, let me tell you. And the Emperor said upon them, Thou shalt kill the mutant, burn the heretic, then purge the unclean. Those words are branded into my soul.
Of course. Do the three of you, do you partake in this sermon as well? Are you
Of course I do. And I follow the good brother.
filled with righteous fury, perhaps?
I don't, but I have other things to do here, which includes staying away from the crazy priest. And I'll start heading towards our hab block.
Do you do this while he is orating?
Yeah, and while doing so, I'm trying to keep my eye out to see what the local power on the street is.
Okay. How long is this sermon, by the way?
Well, it's a short one, so I would say half an hour.
Half, of course. So, are you? Is Arril staying behind to listen to this sermon as well, or does he go with the?
Absolutely, the words of the Emperor must be heard.
Right.
But I find an elevated position. Being with these people, grabbing at my precious gear, which are part of me.
One word for it.
Yes. My blades cannot be taken from me, so I find, an elevated position where they cannot reach me.
You do understand that as they asked in the beginning for the Emperor's mercy, I begin sliding a blade out. But remembering our orders here, I slide it halfway back.
For the sake of Arril, of course, once I do change the meaning of the sermon to go from that even a man who has nothing can still offer his life to offer a life.
Or more.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Offer lives. Including his own, but
Plural.
not limited to. Brilliant. So while the sermon is going on, Elmeric, you are heading towards the Hablock, which is located a mere scant of 300-400 meters away from this landing platform. And you notice quite quickly that there is a certain tension in the air. You notice that people of a slightly higher standard are moving in small groups and often with armed guards with them. And there's quite a lot of wounded and people missing limbs, people having severe damages, burn damages or acid damage, things like that. They are begging. This is of course not uncommon in the Imperium, but this is at a certain level of a hive where that shouldn't be as prevalent. There doesn't really seem to be any gang activity that you can spot right now, although there are certainly gangs of beggars and squatters? No, not squatters. Loiterers that seem to be a little bit like inspecting you as you walk past and giving you the stink eye, like, you better watch yourself, mister. But soon enough, you reach the Hablock, which is actually located on top of a bar, and the bar has the words "Preacher's Respite" in like neon letters over the entrance. And right next to this building is actually a small chapel. The only way to gain entrance to this Hablock that you have been given is to actually go in through the bar, and it doesn't seem to be any other entrances.
Well, then I do so.
Yeah.
Any people inside the bar, or is it too early, too late?
It's hard to tell which time of the day it is, but you've adjusted your chronos, thank you, to match the present time measurement. And seeing as the planet seems to be mostly covered in clouds all year round, it seems that they follow a Terran kind of timekeeping. There seems to be no real control over whether it's cold or hot. It seems to be roughly the same temperature all the time. And it's about the middle of the day, but there are a few people inside. They seem to be workers. The stench of the ocean is extremely strong in here. Seems to be a hangout for fishermen. And as you enter the door, they look up and like give you a look over, and then they go back to nursing their Amasek. There's a faint smell of glow sticks. You can smell tobacco and other herbs in the air, and there's faint music playing from a really old and battered machine. And the bartender looks up at you. It's a kind of a burly looking man, not quite on the level of Ogren, but almost there, like almost demi-human in stature. And he looks at you with his one working eye, the other one milky white with a scar across, and goes, "Here for the room?"
I am.
50 crowns.
I was under the impression that the room was already paid for.
Guess you were under the wrong impression. He spits in a cup and cleans it out before pouring some Amasek into it and shoving it, like pushing it down the bar to someone else.
Well, good barkeep. Here's your 50 crowns. I slam the money on the counter. And I would like to know something. I've noticed that this hive, for being in the middle of it, people seem to be in a pretty rough shape. Has anything been going on here?
Has anything been going on, he asks. You're new here, so I'm gonna cut you some slack, but going around asking questions like that is gonna you're gonna end up in the slave pens, or you're gonna end up dead. Either way, you're gonna be worked to death. Yeah, the governor wants us working 24/7. Of course, increased production quotas, increased risk. Just ask old Davy here, and the man referred to as Old Davy is a man who is missing most of his left arm. Just a little stump on the. It's kind of a fresh wound.
Did all or most of the people outside look like they had fresh wounds?
Fairly fresh wounds, yeah. It depends, but they're not very old, most of them. So it certainly seems like industrial accidents or accidents caused by faulty machinery, things like that. Of course, you never heard anything from me. I never said nothing.
Of course.
You say I did, you ain't gonna live to see the morning. Now, what can I get you?
I look up and see what he's actually offering.
There's a few different local brands of various kinds of alcohol. You don't really recognize most of them.
I'm probably not recognizing a single one.
Probably not, but there's you can gauge from the price the quality of, but nothing really seems to be very fancy here. And he certainly doesn't sell milk, that's for sure.
Well, I would like a bottle of, and I point at one of the mid-range.
Good taste. Good taste. He pulls it up, brushes off some dust. Clearly hasn't been sold for quite a while. You want it in a glass or just want the bottle?
I want a bottle.
Shoves it over to you. That'll be you know what? It's on the house. Sit with the price. What were you being such a good sport and all?
Thank you. And then I go up to my room and leave my duffel bag there.
Welcome to the Preacher's Respite. The Hablock upside, there's actually quite a few apartments, it would seem, and you have been given one big to share. And the corridor is littered with litter, and you see lying outside one of the doors is a man clearly in some amount of intoxication. He's leaning against the door handle, and you can see track marks in his arms, and he's actually missing both of his legs. And he looks up and he's like, "You got a crown?" He's not actually looking at you, but
Well, he's drunk enough to ignore, so I just head past him.
yeah, fuck you too, as you walk past, but doesn't really do anything. And the room inside has 4 cots in it, so there's beds. Has a filthy kind of it looks like an animal has been gnawing on the what do you call them for clothes?
Dresser?
Dresser. It's a dresser. Thank you. It looks like an animal has been gnawing at it for quite a while because it has like chew marks all over the place. There's a table, a rickety table, one leg a little bit shorter than the other, with a couple of magazines stacked underneath the leg, and a few chairs, 3 chairs and a stepping stool, and also a small space for a little latrine in it and a washing basin. There is a book of scripture. I don't think the Lectitio Divinatus is used anymore, but it's some kind of variant of the Emperor's a scripture, a book of scripture, of the many, many books of scripture in the Ecclesiarchy, in one of the drawers of the nightstands. And that's pretty much it. There's a dirty window, missing one pane as well, looking out over the crowd outside.
Perfect for your rifle.
You don't know I have it.
No, I don't.
We're just gonna assume that this is taking enough time for the sermon to end, and one of your party is missing. Did you tell them? You didn't tell them that you were.
No, he was busy talking to the masses.
Well, I kept a sharp eye, so I noticed him slipping away.
Of course.
I did not.
Now you have a mask, you have limited vision.
Well, that's what you think. Yes, of course I have.
Well, let's
Focus,
get on
I
with
call
it
it.
to the Hablock.
Being here first, I also claim the cleanest bed for myself.
It's technically the cleanest.
You shove all the dirt to the next bed.
I would, if you had a sleeping bag, I would definitely recommend sleeping bags. But
I do not have a sleeping bag.
I recommend sleeping with your clothes on. You move towards the Hablock. You spot fairly similar scenes as what Elmeric spotted. And you notice the Preacher's Respite and the small chapel next to it. The chapel looks fairly run down. It's actually boarded up, I would say.
What? Shameful. I go up to it and open it.
The planks don't bend initially, but
I start my eviscerator.
the rather loud sound of a chain halberd,
For the Emperor!
and you make short work of those heretical planks, and the door just creaks open.
This is a house of the Emperor, it shall be open for the masses.
It seems it's a maybe just 3 or 4 meters deep, this building, with 2 pews. They're called pews, right? On either side, and then a very small
Altar?
Thank you, with this very simple aquila printed on it. Nothing of value in this location. It's
Nothing of value.
Well,
It's a temple.
nothing of financial value.
No, I see to that it is cleaned in the way that it might have to be cleaned and put to order, as I would say, in the order a shrine needs to be.
Of course.
And then I leave it until tonight when I will use it.
You notice that quite a few people like gather and look what's going on, and
And I step out and I say to them, tonight,
tonight
for the Emperor,
for the Emperor.
gather here.
Of course, Father. They seem actually sort of excited. It seems that this building has been abandoned for so long that people haven't even noticed that there was a
And the
chapel.
first sermon will be shame.
Well, we'll see. I'll just have to think about it. But it's one of the classics, so
It's a theme.
I'll go in.
This will take some time.
Yes,
for you
okay.
to
The
play.
rest of you go into that because I'm cleaning a chapel.
I'm actually thinking I'll help you remove the boards and the grime and the dirt.
by rolling in it.
Camouflage. But no,
Licking.
no. I fill up one of the 4 bags I carry, and I stack the boards. I mean, they could be useful for later.
Of course,
Yes.
you could entrench yourself in this building.
Yes.
You could fight for days, weeks, years, lifetimes.
You have no idea what I can do with a few boards.
In a 4x4 meter room.
I have no free time. I dig.
So you two proceed to do that, and what
I
is
make my way
Good
to
work, Gotsdam.
the respite.
the respite.
Yes.
Should we
50 crowns.
chain blade away through the wall to the
50
respite?
crowns. Is that... I actually carry some currency with me, so... just from...
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah.
course you carry currency. 50 is steep for what they're offering, but
We're here doing the... Lord's
technically
work.
he robbed you. And he's robbing you too.
Yes, but I have a purpose here.
Okay.
Whatever the cost.
You'll kill him later.
This room may be 50 crowns or thrones to
For him to pay us to even live in it.
pretty much
To buy.
to buy, I would almost say.
Yeah.
Let's shift it over to thrones. I forgot momentarily that that's what it's called.
50 thrones. We're here to serve the Lord.
You are.
The Emperor.
Yes.
You could always try to persuade him that you don't need to pay.
Well...
One of your 30-ish swords, perhaps.
No.
No, you leave it.
I'm here working for the Lord, and I will...
Conduct yourself.
Yes. As he instructed.
So you pay.
Exactly.
Okay, I walk in.
After a few hours of hard labor.
Hard
a
cleansing
few hours. Is it? So
It's
much
a
to cleanse?
very small compartment.
All right.
2 pews and
Hey, wait.
nothing else.
What? We're not scrubbing it?
There's like a thing you can put a book on, a book stand, and the Aquila, and 2 pews. That's
Oh.
all there is in that.
I think after 1 hour of vigorous cleaning, it should be enough.
Spotless.
Enough for the
For
enough
this
for now.
evening?
For now.
Yes.
The
We need-
gilding will come later.
Of course.
So we step into the preacher's rest.
The respite.
Respite.
Yes.
Well, looking around, do they seem unseemly, the characters here?
They're the salt of the earth, or the ocean, as it were. It's not a villainous
Yeah. All right.
hive of scum and whatever it's
Wretchery.
treachery, wretchery, but a wretched hive of scum and villainy. That's what it's not.
Yes.
It's not that. It's definitely more of the where people go to die slowly kind of place.
In bitter beer. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I
Kent.
go in there and I do ask for the accommodation that has been given to us.
He looks you over. Upstairs.
We move.
Thank you very much. For your information, I have opened the chapel and it will be used this night.
Emperor blessed. It's about damn time.
Bless you.
Bless you, Father.
And bless everyone in here. May you find the Emperor in your hard times.
The Emperor protects people. Say fairly, I mean, as much as you can expect from people who have probably spent the majority of the day here drinking.
They have a hard time, I understand it.
yeah.
Weakness is inherently human.
You can, all of you can discern that the people here are not very happy. Like, not just in this bar, but there's a definite level of misery going on in this hive. And there's tension. There's tension broiling.
Well, happiness is optional in the Empire.
Of course. I mean, for you, this lot seems like they're one step
They
away
have-
from tap dancing.
They haven't seen war.
These people don't know how good they have it.
By the way, I must ask, is it dirt anywhere?
In the bar?
No, earth, dirt,
No,
soil.
no, not here.
This is a nightmare.
You are essentially
PTSD heaven.
you're essentially like a kilometer above ground.
I can't do shit with this place. I still carry up a couple of the boards.
A lot of the walking areas are essentially just metallic railings, or what do you call them? The grids, the
Railings?
Walkways?
walkways, like the ones
Yeah.
with holes in them, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that are shaking as you
Yeah, they
walk,
perforate.
and there's just nothing beneath you. So
Right, go up. Notice the sparse accommodations.
You have a bed.
That is true, that is true.
This is
I,
luxury.
have you ever slept in a bed?
No.
What is this? Like poking it with your rifle?
It's soft.
It's weak!
Disgusting.
It's flesh.
Sabbath.
It's a trap! No, I wait the brother to pick his accommodation before I pick the last one. And I start, as I tend to do, I clean and straighten out and make sure it's okay, all the filth and crap I put into the bag.
Of course, I forsake the bed and allow my body a slight respite of stretching out on the hard floor.
It's great for your lumbar.
Of course, the many kilos of the reliquarium does tend to put some knots in the back.
You don't take it off while sleeping?
Yes, I do, but I mean the kilos of carrying it.
Yes.
The
I
knots
am I have a very slight stature.
Wait, you don't
The
leave
knots
it...
are so familiar to you now that you have named them after saints.
Yes.
You don't leave the reliquarium in the chapel?
No, I am actually a bit,
Maybe we should...
It's a holy relic.
and
It shall not
should be
leave his
guarded.
person.
And this is an unguarded chapel on a world apparently filled, or maybe not filled, but at least in the presence of evil and murderers.
That is true.
I would not want the saint to be stolen.
I totally agree. You are not using your bed, then I presume?
No,
Then neither shall I, in the common sense. I use our 2 beds and all the stuff I have acquired and fortify. I produce a fort.
You produce
blanket
fort.
fort.
Yes, with some boards and
Pillow
beds.
fort.
I produce a pit.
I see that this makes our soldier, it calms his soul. So
And on
I
the
give
top
it
of it-
by blessing.
And on the top of it, I produce a spool of barbed wire.
Just a spool, or do you actually
I unspool. I make sure that one of the ways I can look out is through the window, through the firing slit, because it has to be a firing slit. It's not a broken window.
Just sitting there with your last gun aimed out the window, it's like, any day now. Any day now.
No. If it happens, I will be ready.
I choose the bed closest to the window.
Everyone's just up to the window, or
Yeah, basically.
All right, in that case, I respect your choice. I produce my fort close to a wall, and with the
Start digging a hole in the wall.
with the Minotaur issued combat blade, I start digging a hole in the wall to the outside.
it's not hard. It's like
I frown.
it crumbles.
I frown mightily. This is pathetic.
A hot shot last gun round or 2 would easily go through this wall.
This is not good.
So, Elmeric,
No
have you learned
fortification.
anything you did not
It's a
stay
bad
for the
fortification.
sermon? I
It needs
noticed.
to be further fortified.
We have different ways of praising the Emperor, but we all praise the Emperor in our own ways.
Well, I can see mine. I can see Aryl's and even Gotsdam's. But I do not see on the outside what is your way.
I produce a small aquila made out of bronze that always hangs from it.
Do you have several on a chain? That's
No,
obviously not yours.
Which one for this planet?
Oh yeah.
No, it's
You remove your shirt and you have a chainmail of Aquilus.
Well, it is fine to carry the symbol,
Non-warrior.
but I worry for you, as I cannot
Pure.
know your soul.
I feel slightly uncomfortable by the fact that the priest is questioning my faith, but
We are all beset upon by weaknesses, by doubts, maybe by the evil whisperings. We must constantly cleanse and purify and strengthen ourselves. And I just, in my heart, I wonder, how do you do it? Do you stand alone?
I stand alone with the Emperor.
Well, it is not for me at this time to say otherwise, but know that I am here for you.
Pain can be had.
I deem it necessary to pick up my stale wafer and
Chastise yourself.
12 strokes on the lips until they become chafed.
And bloodied.
I stand over you as you do this.
Is it perhaps the wafer you inherited from the Mother Superior?
It is a holy wafer.
Well,
Could be.
I'm almost asking you, do you need that?
Instead of flour, you used cement. Anyway.
okay, what should be our first step for the investigation? I will conduct a sermon this night, and there will be coming, I would say, unlucky people, mostly former workers who have been injured and such, other unluckies who will come there, and I will try to make them look for these killers. But were they right in mostly being killings of the nobility?
As far as I understood it, it's the noble killings that we are here to examine.
We should still find out what the word on the street is, talk to the locals, find out what they think
We
of
were
the...
informed about the prefect.
Yeah, but we should find out what the people say before we talk to the prefect.
We should talk to the prefect. We don't know who has been killed.
Maybe then I shouldn't be so specific in my sermon tonight. Let's not send them after the killers. How long from here to the prefect? Should we visit him in the morning, or do you suggest a longer investigation of the surroundings?
Going to where the prefect lives would not take more than half an hour. You would essentially this lighter that you arrived with is currently at your disposal for traveling to the prefect, and if you inform the pilot that you will be going, he will in turn inform the prefect.
I think we should go tomorrow after lunch.
Tomorrow after fast, yes.
Well, we'll say that.
What time of day is it currently?
It's
cloudy.
Middle of the day. Well, actually, it
Middle
took a
of the
few
day.
hours for you to it took an hour for you to clean, so it's maybe very early evening, late afternoon.
Then I take a walk in the streets to get to know our neighborhood.
Yes. Yes.
I'll do the same. I'll bring the bottle of alcohol I purchased.
Mm-hmm. Do you carry it in your hand, or do you?
No, in a bag.
Okay. in a paper bag. No. You move out. Does everyone go? Does Arril go?
Absolutely.
Okay. You take a little walk around the neighborhood. It is not exactly uplifting. It's more of the same. There's boarded up shops. There's what do you call them? The equivalent of crack houses, with the destitute living together, parentless children. There's the occasional passing of slightly higher ranked individuals, always with armed escorts. And they rarely spend much time in these areas. If it's this bad in the middle parts of the hive, you can only imagine how bad it is further down. And they all seem to have in common that they have suffered industrial damages. They have some of them actually even have green algae growing on them from the time they've spent down in the lower hives. So as you remember, the main source of nutrients in this on this planet is vast fields of seaweed and moss being grown on the shores and in the ocean, as well as these tremendously sized fish.
So, looking closer at one of these persons walking by with algae growing on the person. If I look closely, it's not mutation. It's merely bad hygiene.
You can always roll a...
I do want to roll whatever
absolutely.
it is.
What would be a good roll for this? Since I don't actually have the list of skills here.
Awareness, insight, investigation,
Sure.
medicine.
I would say medicine for this kind of roll.
Yeah, all right. I will roll medicine. And 1 success at all.
No.
No, I have no clue, but I'm keeping my eyes open.
Mhm.
I scrape a bit with my blade.
You are met by curses and raised fists.
I look at them until they lower their fists and go away, and I have patience
And a mask.
and a mask.
Luckily for you, they are starved and delirious, most of them, so it doesn't take long before they go, weird. You're weird. What do you want with me? And they kind of walk off, bugger them all. Millennium hats, shrimps.
I understand nothing of what he is babbling about, so I move on with my team.
Did anyone else roll as well, or
No,
you rolled, Martin? Did you roll for anything in specific?
A sermon.
Ah, sir.
I'm writing my sermon.
Aha, okay.
I'll go into one of the alleys.
Mm-hmm.
Probably find more beggars and poor people here. I try to approach one who looks like it's really down on his luck.
It's not very hard to find one.
Yeah.
I would actually, in fact, say that it's harder to find a beggar who's not down on his luck.
Well,
here.
one that's a bit more down on his luck than the rest.
What do you want? It has exactly 3 teeth in its mouth.
I hand him the bottle of alcohol. You can have this. I would just like some...
I've got my dignity. I'm not doing it.
some information.
Oh. All right.
Is there
What do you
any
want to know?
I would first of all like to know what the power, who's the power on the street. If there any gang or
We can roll.
cunning. Probably the skill
I
that you-
suppose.
cunning?
Cunning?
Seems like a good skill, yeah.
Yeah, it's what it's
The difficulty number is going to be 3.
Yeah, but there's a complication.
All right.
I do succeed.
You do
though.
succeed.
And we can have one of those.
One of those.
Oh yeah, you get a glory point.
Yeah.
So what happens is that the man goes, "Oh well, the power of the streets. Well, that's the noble families, I suppose. He starts thinking, going through his notes that he pulls out from underneath him.
For just these occasions.
They have some complicated names. I don't remember all of them. Let me see here. Well, there's the Charybdion, there's the Tris, there's the Keel, and the Volus. Those are the biggest families. I suppose there's some. We'll call them the unions. They're more of protectors of the workers, if you know what I mean. We're not very happy with the situation, and as he speaks, you can see actually several more down on their luck beggars come, and they start talking. I can tell you about the unions. They're like, give me some of that bottle, and they start like pulling at you. It's like, oh, you got any more in there? Like, and one of them actually snatches your takes a knife and tries to cut your belt to make away with it. So I'm gonna roll a contested roll with you.
Against what?
So you roll and see how many successes. I forgot to
skill.
Weapon skill, yes.
Weapon skill?
Sure.
Or some other skill?
I don't have any sheets here, so I don't know what skills there are, but thank you. Let's see here. I would suppose that awareness, I guess you can roll. I rolled incredibly well, but
Oh, stop bragging.
So, you begin by going alone into an alley and disappear. Alright.
I choose to spend one of these to reroll.
oh gosh. You can reroll. You don't have to reroll failures, successes.
Okay.
You just reroll failures.
Yeah, then I had 3 successes before, so...
Okay.
Oh my god. The Emperor's blessing is upon him.
Yeah, and a...
Okay, so that is a glory.
Yeah, and a...
Wait, did you re-roll the?
Yeah.
Then you don't get a glory, I think, from it. Well, we'll figure that out later. Well, okay. How many successes in total?
8.
8. Not only do you prevent him from cutting off your belt, you also have 4 successes above, so you can shift 6s if you want.
Stab him.
I'm not gonna stab him, but I'll
Shoot him.
grab his
Steal his stuff.
arm really as
Hey,
hard
let
as I
go of
can.
me! What do you want?
That's not for you.
What do you mean, not for me? You're handing out free booze. Yeah, he's handing out free booze. Hey, who's handing out free booze? There's like, people are just moving towards you in a large crowd.
Yeah, this person just wanted to hand out free booze to you. I tried to pin it on the person who tried to rob me.
There's a general sense of confusion in the crowd. So some of them probably go for him, but quite a lot of them still go for you. While this is going on, the 3 of you hear, I suppose, from the alley how people are yelling free booze. And there's a general ruckus of shouting and the occasional yells as 1 or 2 people get stabbed in the process. What do you do?
I walk into the alley.
I follow the priest.
Yes, I walk into the Valley of Death.
Yes.
They shall fear me. Wait,
I walk into the alley of death, holding
free
innocence
booze.
lost high, and also a lit candle or something, something spreading the light. I come with the Emperor's light. What foul things becomes here?
You got free booze too?
Free booze? There is nothing such thing as free.
Well, he was giving him something.
Where is your shame?
What do you mean? I got my dignity.
No, you have not.
He says
Or if
as-
you do, it is false. Utterly false. What have you done which you can be truly proud of? Tell me now.
I haven't done anything to be proud of.
Truly, yes. All of you here, who of you have done something that the Emperor would be glad of?
You want to roll a intimidation check, I guess.
By the way, can we aid him in some way?
Absolutely, you can aid.
How does that work?
There should be something about aiding, but I'm fairly sure all you need to do is roll a relevant stat, and if you succeed, a difficulty number of 3, you add 1 die to his dice pool.
So I'm gonna aid him in intimidation.
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm just standing there.
A 6 was 2 successes, right?
Yes.
Then I have 6 successes.
Wait. Yeah, 6 more from me and the special dice.
That's another point of glory for you. No, actually, no, you don't get glory from these. Sorry, I'm terribly sorry. From these, you don't get glory.
Wait, sorry, 7 successes.
So that's another die you roll. You want to add to?
Well,
Should I roll another die?
Yeah.
I add by standing and looming.
1 more. 7 successes.
can I assist by trying to sneak him out of here?
No, you kill someone.
You can assist. Oh, then you have to do that separately. But
Okay.
we'll do that.
In other
a sec-
case, I'll assist with deception, I guess.
And I'll use the commotion to...
Okay, sure. How do you use deception?
Well, I try to lure everyone's attention away from him.
Certainly. How would you do that?
Well, basically by cheering him on and pointing everyone, trying to get everyone's attention pointing at him.
Oh, okay, sure. Go ahead.
Look
Roll.
at my blades.
My blades are amazing.
Well, that's not very good.
That's a lot of ones. How many,
I don't know what that means.
How many successes?
Well, 1, I guess.
Okay, you don't really. You're like.
I shake my keys.
What is the farm boy
but
doing?
You have
Shuffle in the
4.
background.
You have 4 extra successes.
4 extra successes?
Yes.
You
So
needed 3 to.
you needed 3 to pass.
Yeah, okay.
So you have, if you have 2 6s,
Yeah, 1 6.
okay, you can shift that 6
Yes.
to, for example, improve the quality of your
I
intimidation.
do.
Okay.
And the other extra successes doesn't do anything.
No, you can only shift 6s.
Okay.
So not only are they thoroughly
Ashamed.
ashamed, and several of them start crying, and they plead for Elmeric's forgiveness, and they grovel on the ground, and they like, forgive me, I am so weak.
And I pull out my blade. No, wait.
You're forgiven if you help us reach the union leaders tomorrow.
Of course, I'll help you with anything. They'll kill me, but I'll help you.
Then
In death, you will make him proud.
It only
I'll do it. I'll die for the Emperor.
I lean over him and whisper to him, only in death does duty end.
Only in death does duty end.
And all of you, you need not die. You make something. You take a step on towards doing something what is right in this world. Some of you may die, yes, but you die for a great cause. But some of you, a lucky few, will continue to live, and you will continue to do something truly important with your lives.
Meanwhile, you're jingling the keys.
Yes.
They are enraptured, and you have quelled
The hobo anger.
the hobo anger.
The hobo riots.
Try to arrange a meeting
Yes, they
after breakfast
of
tomorrow.
course.
So
of course.
And remember, everyone, idleness breeds heresy. Do something good.
Of course.
Help someone.
We will. I'll help you.
Spread
No,
the
I'll help
Emperor's
you.
light.
They
Go in peace.
go in peace, Father. They do the Aquila. Those who still have hands. One of them, they tried.
Aquila can be made with any body part.
Of course. The rest of the journey around the neighborhood
If you
goes
lack hands, that is.
surprisingly well. It's almost as if all the scum and villainy are just avoiding the warband, as it were, or the words of a stern preacher and his retinue of of
Followers, yes.
supposedly spreads, and you're given a wide berth.
Elmeric, I hope we didn't disturb your shenanigans.
Your aid was appreciated.
Brilliant.
Sometimes the masses can get a bit rowdy.
Yes, they are filled with doubts. It is a sad place. I hope we can do something positive for them. They are not bad people deep down.
You've already done something good for them.
Yes.
You have spread light in this dark place.
Does this world have a guard garrison, perhaps?
I think it was taken away with the Lord Gilead.
So they would need recruits, yes?
I am not familiar with how the recruitment was done on this planet, but perhaps we should talk to someone in charge and say that recruitment might be a good thing to start. It would create, well, a sense of purpose and protection on this world.
You finish your little sojourn in the neighborhood and retire to the inn. You're offered a filling but not very tasteful meal of fish and seaweed.
This is glorious! So tasteful,
it's
artfully made.
It has salt.
It has flavor.
And as you tuck in for the night, you're
I'm actually off to another sermon.
Yes, of course. No rest for the pious. And
We might not want to focus that much on it, I guess, but I try to really focus on the one of the words that I like, not the most, but I like it. Carry the Emperor's will as your torch, and with it, destroy the shadow. And I try to elaborate on that. What is the shadow? It might be your own consciousness, your conscience, I mean.
of course.
And all of that, really
And it's received quite well, you'd say. You're bringing light to people who have been without hope for quite some time. And with that, we will end the first session of Wrath and Glory, Dark Tides. Hope you guys had fun. We'll continue this in, I'd say 2 weeks. Thursday, 2 weeks.
Should work.
We'll see. Thank you very much for playing, and thank you for listening.
We didn't die or kill anyone, good and bad.